Whoops. Hello. Rising. Oh my goodness. Grand afternoon. Rising afternoon. I'm early. My clock on the wall is set a few minutes faster. You can see it says 1 o'clock right here. So, goodness gracious. As I was Googling a good quote for balance, I kept getting guided to Star Wars, which is what my guy made me watch. And it's pretty amazing. I'm going to use a couple of the quotes because it all came back to dark and light, balance, the yin and the yang. So it says, this one, I can't get it to fit in that right there. It says in the front thing, I feel like a lot of people forget the gray code. The scythe code is peace is a lie. There is only passion. Through passion, I can gain strength. Through strength, I can gain power. Through power, I gain victory. Through victory, my chains are broken. The force shall free me. And then the force, there is no dark and light. The Jedi code is there is no emotion. There is no peace. There is no ignorance. There is knowledge. There is no passion. There is serenity. There is no chaos. There is harmony. There is no death. There is the force. So there you've got your black and white, right? And that is the key traits and characteristics of borderline personality disorder thinking. No, there's black and white thinking, no gray area, no middle ground. So our Creator is everything, gives us everything we want, dark and light. So all of this just came to me as I was searching for this. So it says the gray code is there is no dark side nor light side. There is only the force. I will do what I must to keep the balance. The balance is what keeps me together. That's reaching in and grabbing your darkness, telling them demons, come on, the dark within us, the shame, the guilt, everything, bringing it to the forefront and facing it courageously. The dark cannot exist without the light, or the light cannot exist without the dark. So I will do what I must. This is the gray code. I will do what I must to keep the balance. Balance is what keeps me together. There is no good without evil, but evil must not be allowed to flourish. There is passion, yet emotion, serenity, yet peace, chaos, yet order. I am the wielder of the flame, protector of balance. I am the holder of the torch, lighting the way. I am the keeper of the flame, soldier of balance. I am the guardian of balance, the gray code, not just the dark and the light like Star Wars. And Star Wars was not something that I absolutely did not want to watch. I didn't want to watch it. I wasn't into the spaceships and aliens. And he told me, it's not about the spaceships. He said it's a love story. And it's about good and evil, because I was like, I really don't want to watch this. These movies were like 3 hours long each, and there's many. So today, as I looked at what day 40 was, and because we're going into phase 6 of One Day My Soul just opened up, and day 35 is to honor life with balance. That's when I Googled the quote. And crazy as it is, my shaman over in California, my Lakota sister, asked me today about my guy, whether he had fillings or not. Mercury fillings. I've got plenty. Mercury, Nevada. Mercury, heavy metal toxicity. Mercury. So there's one of my signs. So I took a picture of my bottom teeth and sent it to her when she asked that and said, wow, funny you should ask. So the yin and yang, patience, grasshopper. Patience, young grasshopper. Trust the universe is working. The yin and the yang, the dark and the light, is about balance. One extreme will always change into its opposite, so that the extreme yang turns into yin and vice versa. The yin and yang consume and support each other and are usually held into balance. As one increases, the other decreases. The concept of yin and yang originates in ancient Chinese philosophy and metaphysics, which describes two primal opposing yet complementary forces found in all things in the universe. Yin, the darker element, is passive, dark, feminine, downward seeking, and corresponds to the night, Mother Moon. Yang, the brighter element, is active, light, masculine, upward seeking, and corresponds to the day. Yin and yang are complementary opposites rather than absolutes. That's where you get out of your black and white thinking. Most forces in nature can be broken down into its respective yin and yang states, and the two are usually in movement rather than held in absolute stasis. That is perfect textbook description of black and white thinking of borderline personality disorder. So anybody that thinks that our creator is all or nothing, all light or all, no, that light cannot exist without the darkness. And God said, let there be light, because it was dark, right? And so everything was spoken into existence by the divine creator. Absolutely. Dark and light exist. You cannot have one without the other. And perfect love casts out all fear. Light. Speak light into the darkness. We have to embrace our shadow side, do our shadow work. I go through moments of I suffer with seasonal affective disorder, which is like the winter blues, depression, lack of sunlight. I know what it is. I know now that I know, which I learned some years ago. It's very important that you know those things. Without the sun in the winter scheme, that's why I chose Nevada, because there was sun all year round. That's why I picked that place to live. That's why it popped up in myrealtor.com. That's why I prayed for the land. I found it. I Google Earthed it. I did all those things so that I could be in the sunshine. But it all didn't work out that way. I researched what the weather was like year round, what the humidity was like, because I hate Florida humidity. So it was like I went above and beyond to find an environment where I would be okay, balanced in sunshine. I got chills right now saying that. Oh my goodness. So it's very, very important that we are aware of the darkness in us, grabbing our shame, grabbing the dark stuff that makes us icky. And I'll use that one quote again. That one quote. And opposites attract. That's the funny thing, is opposites attract. So where the heck is that little quote? Until you heal the wounds of your past, you are going to bleed. You can bandage the bleeding with food, with alcohol, with drugs, with work, with cigarettes, with sex, whatever you use to distract it. But eventually, it will all ooze through and stain your life. You must find the strength, and I'll add the courage, to open the wounds, stick your hands inside, pull out the core of the pain that's holding you in your past, the memories, and make peace with them. And so that is a quote by this author, Ayanna Van Zant. Yes, it is. And then we found the one I used this morning was in many shamanic societies. When a person comes to a shaman complaining, they're going to say, what's happened? What's happened? That's what they say. What's been going on with you? And they get to the root of the problem. So it's like, where'd it go? Oh, where'd that little quote go? In many shamanic societies is what it says. Well, I can't find it. No, here it is. In many shamanic societies, if you came to a shaman or medicine person complaining of being disheartened, dispirited, or depressed, they would ask one of four questions. When did you stop dancing? When did you stop singing? When did you stop being enchanted by stories? When did you stop finding comfort in the sweet territory of silence? Where we have stopped dancing, singing, being enchanted by stories, or finding comfort in silence is where we have experienced the loss of the soul. Dancing, singing, storytelling, and silence are the four universal healing salves. Right there. Dancing, singing, storytelling, and silence. And the natives say that we were given 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. It's very, very important to know that. Because right now, at this point, at this day and age, it's everybody that wants to talk. And everybody thinks they have it all figured out. And they're all thinking that they need to seek it everywhere but within. So I'm going to do this one and then we'll get right into our reading. Finding yourself is really not how it works. You aren't a $10 bill in last winter's coat pocket. You are also not lost. Your true self is right there, buried under cultural conditioning, other people's opinions, and inaccurate conclusions you drew as a kid that became your beliefs about who you are. Finding yourself is actually returning to yourself from unlearning and excavation, a remembering who you were before the world got its hands on you. Absolutely, it is. That's a great one. So phase 6, we made it all the way. We're on day 35. We're going to be wrapping this up. I'm going to do one every single day so we can finish this because we'll only have 4 days left after today. So Joe Goldsmith, in a parenthesis, in eternity, parentheses, in eternity, said, just as the spider unfolds its web from within its own being, we must unfold divine wisdom, divine joy, and the divine potential of God from within ourselves. And that goes to our quote to today. The moment we stop trying to make God come to us, we will realize that God is already there. And that's what our quote was today. All the wonders you seek are within yourself. You don't have to search for everything all over Google anymore. None of the ascended masters. I search for healing stuff more than anything. I'm not listening to half of the crap people are saying anymore. It just creates more confusion in my brain. Let me tell you that. My answers come from within. It comes through music. It comes through everything. The answers come to me. I write down amazing stuff about all the ascended masters and fasting and how they did not use the internet at all. So honor life. We're honoring life with balance today, but this is the very intro about honoring life, honoring the divinity within us. We have often, no, she said, not we. I have often been ashamed of my life and myself. I have done some things that I have considered inexcusable and unforgivable. I have many times, I got chills, in many ways, put myself in jeopardy. I have too, as well as others. I have been defiant, and at times I thought I had been defeated. I finally realized nothing I had done had anything to do with life. It was all a big misunderstanding. I did not understand what life was really about. I did not understand my role in life. I did not know how to honor myself. I did not know it was necessary to honor life. I was confused and clueless until the day I asked to die. I got down on my knees and prayed to God to take my life. Been there, done that. Please just let me die. I had already failed at 2 suicide attempts. 20 here, 20. So I wasn't going that route again. I just didn't want to be on the planet. And since I knew that God had placed me here, I was begging Him to let me leave. I prayed and I cried for hours. When I finished, I was still alive. A few days later, I was watching an evangelist on television. In the middle of his sermon, he pointed his finger outward and said, God does want your life. He gave it to you. Honor what God has given you and do something with your life. It was exactly what I needed to hear, but I didn't know where to begin. Sometimes you need it told like that so it really sinks in. Life is a process of growing, outgrowing, and growing some more. There was a time when I thought life was hard work. Now I know that it is a process of total surrender. In order to live fully, we are required to grow into our divine potential by outgrowing our thoughts of limitation. Each experience we live through and grow through is a vitally important aspect of spiritual growth. These steps ultimately enable us to outgrow those things which we believed to be wrong or right, good or bad, necessary and unnecessary. The only way we can grow into our divine identity is to live through and outgrow the limitations we place on ourselves. It feels like work. It looks like work. It is, however, a divinely guided growth process. The ancient mystery schools taught me that if you can define a thing, you don't understand it. How do you define life? What adjectives, verbs, flowering descriptions could you offer to provide an adequate description for the divine process of growing and outgrowing? What would you say if a Martian were standing before you today asking, what is this thing called life? How would you describe it? How would you give this alien being a full understanding of the essence of life? I would not know where to begin. I do not know what words I would use. I would be dumbfounded, just as I am most of the time, about the miraculous process called life. Go with the flow. Roll with the punches. Take each day as it comes. If you are still alive, it means you do not know the whole story. Each of us must wait until the final outcome. To honor life, we must be willing to grow through what we don't know yet and outgrow what we know no longer fits us. That's the process of getting rid of things that no longer serve us, which you do at each full moon. You surrender and get rid of anything that no longer suits your highest good. To honor life, we must be willing to give in to the process, moment by moment, surrender, realizing a new plot may be unfolding, a new character may be about to take the stage. In honoring life, we must give credit to the divine director, producer, and creator of this live production by acknowledging and accepting that he knows that the spirit, not he or she knows the final outcome and the role we must play. The divine will help us develop our character. The divine will unveil the twisting, turning plot of the story and make sure that we are not upstaged. The divine will honor us by protecting us as we grow. In order to honor life and its director, we must only show up, stay alert, and be willing to learn the part. So when I was just talking to my sister, Lakota, earlier through text, she was talking about how people would honor the gurus and worship the gurus, the spiritual masters and stuff. I said, I don't want worship. It's not me doing anything. I'm just the messenger. It's the spirit working through me. I want the spirit to be honored. I want the spirit to be praised. I'm just a messenger. I'm just a nobody. Heather Kite. I'm just another junkie drug addict from prison. And if it can be used through me, because that's who the spirit chooses, the weak, and makes us strong. I'll make you happy. I have a huge elephant coming against with somebody else. You'll be happy, but first I'll make you strong, said God. So I just sent that out yesterday to some people. You're going to be, because how can we find the pleasure without the pain? How can we have those things without knowing those sides, the extremes, and then finding the center and the balance? And everything is frequency. So honor life with balance, day 35. I am amazed at everyone who stuck it through and did all of this with us every single day. And I am so grateful for everyone that's healing in this journey. This is all very, very, very important. This book has really changed my life for the third time now. I love reading this stuff at a different place in my life because my head's in a different spot. My mind is in a different spot. My heart's in a different spot in my body. And now that I'm so much balanced in love, it's amazing that I can take my days when they come and I'm not feeling energetic and I'm not feeling productive in things. And I can say, that's okay today. I'm not going to beat myself up about it at all. So, the working definition, the principle we're working with today is balance. It is a state of being in proportion with one thing to another, to arrange that one set of elements equals another. We cannot drive out hate with hate. We cannot drive out dark with darkness. It must be with light in us, within us. We can only lead the people in and show them the light and sit with them in the dark. So, commentary on balance: rest, work, play, serve, learn, teach, give, receive. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Stop, go, speak, listen, cry a little, understand more, pray a lot, rejoice even more. No matter who you are and what you think you know or do not know, life will teach you to honor and respect balance. There must be discords in order to achieve harmony. There must be darkness that propels us into light. It is the frigid cold that teaches us to appreciate the warmth. Anyone who has ever been an underdog knows about the upper hand. Oh, yes. Whether we consciously strive to attain it or in reflection, realize it has been afflicted upon us. Balance is the order of the day, and all the smart people seek to balance their days. Now, I don't know about you, but I have not been a smart person most of my life. I would say I haven't been very wise. I admit that for most of my life, I've been totally out of balance, but it wasn't my fault. As a very young child, I learned to measure my worth in proportion to what I did rather than who I was. Excuse me. The more I did, the more valuable I felt. The more valuable I felt, the more I sought to do. I was a do more, better doing kind of person. You would think that I would at least be smart enough to do what I enjoyed doing. Oh no, not me. Do more, better people evolve into do more, faster. Do more, better, faster people, which makes the doing a chore. It is work, hard work. Trust me. Do more, better, faster people, like the kind I was, do not enjoy working. We simply do not know how to stop. Eventually, even the fun stuff becomes work. You work from sunup to sundown, afraid to stop, afraid to lose your worth in the eyes of others. But more important, you are afraid that the moment you stop doing, you will lose the worth and value you have placed on yourself. It is this do more, better, faster approach to living that leads to physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual imbalance. It's pretty rough on your feet and legs too. It's very rough on your mind. There's a song by Daft Punk and Kanye West, Harder, Better, Faster, Stronger. And it's how we push ourselves until we get sick. We do it to ourselves. We don't have balance. I think my brother contributed to my imbalance by constantly saying to me, "You play too much." I know my teachers contributed by telling me, "You don't study enough." My mother, bless her heart, made the most valuable contribution of all when she said, "You just don't know what to do with yourself, do you?" She was right. I didn't know what to do or how much of it to do. I knew that hard work would bring me monetary rewards. You're working for the rewards. I knew that serious study would bring me academic honors. I also knew that playing, relaxing, or just having fun would take precious time away from the hard work and study that would bring me more rewards. Yet it seemed to me that the harder I worked, the more resentful I became. The more I studied, the more obsessive I became. Yes, I have to detach from studying often. I was getting nowhere real fast because I was broke, tired, hostile, and very, very bitchy until a dear friend taught me about balance. That's what happened with my beautiful Lakota sister. Breath and balance. Breath is life. Breath is life. Life, she said, had many avenues, and you owe it to your shoes to spend a little time on each and every avenue. How, she asked, do you expect to know what is going on and the benefits of strolling down the avenues if you only take one road, one path, one street all the time? There are days, she told me, when you must stroll down the avenue barefoot. There will be times, she said, when you must prance down the avenue in your high-heeled shoes. If, she explained, you want to know what is really happening on the avenue, you must put on your busted up sneakers and hang out with the folks. Yes, you must. Don't forget, she warned me, to be present on the avenue when all the other penny loafers are out strolling too. Then, she said, there are those special occasions, those very special times when you must put on your gold lame slippers and glide down the avenue, observing all the things you probably missed all the other times. Above all else, my friend explained, you must know what shoes to wear and what avenue to stroll if you want to discover the best of life. Then you learn to navigate the dark and the light. Absolutely. I fit in well with the homeless people. You know why? Because I don't go out there in my Sunday's finest clothes and I just be love to them. I can speak scripture. I can speak all of the healing and all of the truths without having a Bible in my hand, without fancy high heeled shoes on. I never wear that type of stuff. I can flow right in with it. And that's why most are turned off by those holier than thous in their Sunday finest. You don't have to dress up for any of that. You have to be able to navigate the darkness and go. The people that need to be there will be there. And they just love me to death. They fit in. I fit in absolutely great with them. Absolutely great. Because I am them. And I'm not ashamed to say that at all. What she said sounded very true. No, very nice. Almost poetic. But what the heck did it have to do with my feeling the need to work all the time? Balance. Take time to play in your bare feet. It will keep you connected to the glorious nature and the innocence of the child within. Put on your high-heeled pumps or shiny black spats and go dancing every now and again. It will keep you in touch with the rhythm of life. You don't even have to put on shiny stuff. You can dance in the rhythm of life in your slippers like I do. And I'm talking about house slippers. I'm not talking about shiny pumps. I'm talking about or glass slippers or any of that stuff. I'm talking about house slippers with fuzzy stuff around it with my Las Vegas dye socks that Ashley gave me. My center socks, my mom called them. Lord have mercy. It will keep you in touch with the rhythm of life. Reach back, reach out to help somebody sometime. Though less fortunate than us, that's what we need to be doing. When you are reaching back, out, or down, you are serving. When you serve, do it with humility. Do it with no expectations. Do it for no rewards. Sneakers with holes in them are a symbol of humility. You are a student of life. There is always something new for you to learn each day. Every good student knows that penny loafers are essential to higher learning. I don't own penny loafers. There are many times when you must sit down and commune. Commune with nature, with your inner self, and with the divine. Gold lame slippers are an essential part of communion. They are a gentle reminder that the ground upon which you stand is holy. All is sacred ground. When you look down and see gold lame slippers on your feet, chills of worth and value run up and down your spine. I feel that way with my house slippers on. You become grateful to be alive because you are alive. You want to savor all the experiences of every aspect of life. Balance is the key to your ability to savor life. Balance does not require you to do anything better or faster than anyone else. It's not a competition. It requires only that you make a conscious effort to enjoy what you're doing and that you learn to be present in every aspect of life. for some portion of each day that you are alive. Rest, work, play, serve, learn, teach, give, receive. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Go, speak, listen. No, stop, go. Speak, listen. Cry some more. Let it out. Crying is healing. Crying is cleansing. Understand some more. Pray some more. Rejoice even more. Celebrate life. Balance is the key to enlightenment. Enlightenment is the key to self-value and self-worth. An enlightened person with a solid sense of value and worth owns many kinds of shoes and wears them at the appropriate time in order to walk, stroll, run, hop, skip, and dance down the many wonderful avenues of life. We will never know the outside unless we go to the outside, right? We'll just sit there and cast stones and judge them. After reading today's commentary, if you're doing your journal, you realize what about balance? The key phrase you want to remember and work with today are blank about balance. So, our affirmations for today are: we live a balanced life. We take time to work and to play. We take time to learn and time to teach. We take time to give, and we are open to receiving the bountiful blessings in life. Yes, yes, we are. Yes, I am, because I am hard at receiving, because I haven't always been given so freely. I give and give and give so freely that it literally made me sick. So we spend time with ourselves. We're comfortable with ourselves. We don't need something to distract us at all times because we've learned to love ourselves. We spend time with the divine. We spend time with others. We spend time in nature. We take the time to spend time enjoying all that life has to offer. We live a balanced life, and for this we are so grateful. And so it is, by the power of Christ consciousness come alive in every single person. Hallelujah. It's finished. So help us to remember: rest, work, play, serve, learn, teach, give, receive. Life is a wonderful place with many things to do and many things to learn. Our worth is not attached to what we do. There is a child in us who loves to play. There is a growing being within us who needs to rest. Chords and discords create harmony in the balance of life. So today we celebrated ourselves for creating balance by what? And today we found it difficult to achieve balance because blank. So are we all work and no play? Makes Heather a dull girl. So today we realized we fell out of balance when or because of what? Tomorrow is about expansion. Oh, Marianne Williamson, author of A Return to Love. I'll have to write that down. Give me just a moment. A Return to Love. She's my favorite. About fear. The greatest fear is that not that we are inadequate, but that we are powerful beyond measure. So what I've been doing for balance over here is not only my Pilates, where my picture shows me absolutely in perfect form with the 3-pound weights on. I'm learning to do headstands, handstands, where I can actually lift and balance myself up, and even doing bends and things that just flowing with the energy. I started doing that when I was a raver. So I was playing with energy way back then. So I just got very, very sick. I got off balance. I allowed too much negativity to seep in and nearly destroy me. Almost killed me. I allowed it. I didn't know better. So I don't beat myself up now. It was all a learning experience. And I got a good grade because I rose back. I came back. I healed. It's amazing when you learn to love yourself. So day 35, here we are. Day 35, we made it that many days too. I did this hand in hand because they're both 2 40-day journeys. Love is accountable. This breaks down the love chapter, so you just apply it however, whatever relationship you've got in your life. You can use it with your children. You can use it for any. But this one focuses on marriage and a divine relationship as far as a husband and wife go. But you can use it in any relationship. Just apply it however it fits. You don't have to exclude everything. Like you can't just X out the entire Bible just because the men distorted it. No, there's still lots of very, very good messages and useful information. We cannot just exclude and be black and white thinking about things. We have to have the gray area. So Proverbs 15:22 NIV says, plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors, they succeed. That's why I'm all about unity. Let's put we need everybody's wisdom and knowledge so we can fix it and recreate this story. Recreate humanity and harmony and love with balance and bringing all of our wisdom and knowledge together. Mighty sequoia trees tower hundreds of feet in the air and can withstand intense environmental pressures. Lightning can strike them, fierce winds can blow, and forest fires can rage around them. But the sequoia endures, standing firm, only growing stronger through the trials. It's like our life. One of the secrets to strength of this giant tree is what goes on below the surface. And people who have never gone without would never know what it's like. They never would. And they never seek to understand. Many of them do not ever. Unlike many trees, they reach out and interlock their roots with the sequoias around them. Each becomes empowered and reinforced by the strength of others. The secret to the sequoia is also a key to maintaining a strong, healthy marriage. A couple that faces problems alone is more likely to fall apart during rough times. However, the ones who interlock their lives in a network of other strong marriages radically increases their chances of surviving the fiercest of storms. It is crucial that a husband and wife pursue godly advice, healthy friendships, and experienced mentors. Everyone needs wise counsel throughout life. Wise people constantly seek it and gladly receive it. Fools never ask for it and then ignore it when it's given to them. As the Bible so clearly explains, the way of a fool is right in his own eyes, but a wise man is he who listens to counsel. Proverbs 12:15. Gaining wise counsel is like having a detailed roadmap and a personal guide while traveling on a long, challenging journey. It can be the difference between continual success and destruction of another marriage. It is vital that you invite strong couples to share the wisdom they have gained through their own successes and failures. Why waste years of your life learning painful lessons when you could discover the same truths during a few hours of wise counsel? Why not cross the bridges others have built? Wisdom is more valuable than gold. Yes, it is. Not receiving it is like letting priceless coins pass through your fingers. And how do you do that? By willingness, being willing to receive. Good marriage mentors warn you before you make a bad decision. They encourage you when you are ready to give up, and they cheer you on as you reach new levels of intimacy in your marriage. Sometimes when you give people warnings, they don't want them. They reject them, and they don't want to listen. So you can only do what you can do. Plant those seeds and ask the Creator to water them. Do you have an older couple or friend of the same gender you can turn to for good advice, for prayer support, and for regular accountability checkups? Do you have someone in your life who shoots straight with you? And you and your spouse need these types of friends and mentors on a consistent basis. The Bible says, encourage one another day after day, so that none of you will be hardened by the deceitfulness of sin. Sinning against yourself is also sinning against the people in your life. You are hurting yourself and you are hurting them. The divinity within you. That's Hebrews 3:13. Too often we isolate ourselves from others. If we are not careful, we could push away the people who love us the most. Yes, we can. You must guard yourself against the wrong influencers. Be careful of the friends you seek and you choose. You become like the 5 people you hang out with the most. Everyone has an opinion, and some people will encourage you to act selfishly and leave your mate in order to pursue your own happiness. That is all selfish desire. Be careful about listening to advice from people who don't have good marriages themselves. If your marriage is hanging on by a thread, or your relationship, or whatever, or already heading for divorce, then you need to stop everything and pursue solid counseling as quickly as possible. It says call a pastor. You can do that if you want to. A Bible believing counselor or a marriage ministry today. As awkward as it may initially be to open up your life to a stranger, your relationship is worth every second spent and every sacrifice you will make for it. If you truly want to keep that person, you will do whatever it takes. Even if your marriage is fairly stable, you're in no less need of honest, open mentors. People who can put wind in your sails and make your marriage even better. Lift you up, guide you in the right way. Sometimes they tell you the truth and sometimes you don't want to hear it, but sometimes it's very necessary. Sometimes karmic partners are there to bring the truth to the light about who you are and what your blockage is. That's what lots of it is. And the truth hurts. Even me. How do you pick a good mentor? You look for a person who has the kind of marriage or relationship you want. You look for a person who has a heart for Christ comes first before everything else. It's the heart of the universe, the divine. Love. Give me your eyes so I can see. A great song by Brandon Heath. You look for someone who doesn't live by his or her opinions, but by the unchanging Word of God. And more times than not, this person will likely be delighted you asked for help. Start praying for God to send this person into your life. Then pick a time to meet and talk. If this doesn't sound too important for you, it would be a good idea to ask yourself why. Do you have something to hide? Are you afraid you will be embarrassed? Do you think your marriage is exempt from needing outside help? Does diving into a river of positive influence not appeal to you? Don't be the captain of another Titanic divorce by ignoring the warning signs around you when you could have been helped. A lot of times we need to help ourselves by becoming willing. Here is an important reminder from Scripture. Each one of us will give an account of himself to God. Romans 14:12. I bet you give an account to yourself daily because the Spirit is within you. This appointment is unbreakable. And although we're all ultimately responsible for the way we approach it, we can surely stand at as much help as others can give. It might just be the relational influence that takes your marriage from mediocre to amazing. So today's dare was to find a mentor or someone who is strong in spiritual principles. It says Christian. It doesn't have to be a Christian. Spiritually, that will help you, who will be honest and loving with you. The best thing a psychologist ever told me when I made an excuse, when she asked me a question in prison back in 2006, asked me a question, I gave her an excuse, and she said, "That's bullshit. What's the real reason?" And I was like, oh my gosh, she just called me on my bullshit. And I needed that. I needed that. When she said that, I was just like, whoa, it offended me, right? But I needed to hear that. So if you feel that counseling is needed, then take the first step to set up an appointment. During this process, ask the Spirit to direct your decisions and your discernment. That way you know if it's going to be the right or wrong person for you. So check here when you completed today's dare. This was not to be taken lightly, the whole book. It was considered a dare. It said in the very, very beginning. Who did you choose? Why did you select this person? And what do you hope to learn from them? So we're going to get my kid in treatment. Probation came in. It's time. Dual diagnosis, mental health, and substance abuse. It's pointless to treat the substance abuse alone without treating the whole reason you're using. Get to the source of the pain. Proverbs 11:14 says, in abundance of counselors, there is victory. So Shannon said, I said, nothing can fix what's already this broken, but God has removed everything that was contaminating our marriage. So thank you, Shannon, for sharing that. Oh, I'm so amazed we came this far. Got through all these days. This is great. I'm so delighted that I could be the bearer of great news and healing. I could be a messenger. And all I ever prayed for was to be a healer. That's it. Of all the spiritual gifts, that's the only one I asked for. And goodness gracious, I never in a million years would have imagined that any of this would be transpiring right now. Never dreamed of having any Facebook groups, which I no longer have. I lost everything many times over. And this is just amazing to have a YouTube channel and be reaching all over the world. Never in a million years did I think that I'd be doing any of this. And I'm so grateful, so honored. So yesterday in A Course in Miracles, we did A Course in Miracles from the Foundation for Inner Peace. Our lesson was God is in everything because we see. No, we see. God is in everything we see because God is in our mind. Spiritual. That's how I started writing. That's how all the Ascender Masters started writing. Fasting and prayer. Who wrote? Moses wrote commandments. Moses fasted for 40 days. Jesus was the only one that did it. Who else wrote? Christ did. Jesus isn't even his name. Neither is Yehoshua. So, all that trickery, we all got brain damage. Complex PTSD. Why is it complex? Because it's very difficult. When your brain is so tricked and lied to all your life, we've all been lied to. All of us. Oh, so terribly programmed. It's very, very unfortunate. So, lesson 31. I am not the victim of the world I see. When you change your perception and change it from being victim mentality to victorious, it changes everything. You turn your test into a testimony and your mess into a message. So we are not victims anymore. Today's idea is the introduction to your declaration of release. Again, the idea would be applied to both the world you see without and the world you see within. In applying the idea, we will use a form of practice which will be used more and more with changes as indicated. Generally speaking, the form includes two aspects, one in which you apply the idea on a more sustained basis, and the other consisting of frequent applications of the idea throughout the day. 2 longer periods of practice with the idea for today are needed, one in the morning and one at night. 3 to 5 minutes for each day. Each of these are recommended. During that time, look about you slowly while repeating the idea 2 or 3 more times. When you close your eyes and apply the same idea to your inner world, you will escape from both together, for the inner is the cause of the outer. As you survey your inner world, merely let whatever thoughts cross your mind come to your awareness, each to be considered for a moment, then replaced by the next. Try not to establish any kind of hierarchy among them. Watch them come and go dispassionately as possible, not to see in black and white thinking. There is no right or wrong. There is no good or bad. There is no all of that stuff. It's all, everything is a matter of perception, everything in life. So don't dwell on any one in particular, but try to let the stream move on evenly and calmly without any special investment on your part. As you sit and quietly watch your thoughts, repeat today's idea to yourself as often as you care to, but with no sense of hurry. In addition, repeat the idea for today as often as possible during the day. Remind yourself that you are making a declaration of independence. Declaration of Independence and the Gettysburg Address. In the name of your own freedom, and your freedom lies in the freedom of the world. The idea for today is also a particularly useful one to use as a response to any form of temptation that may arise. It is a declaration that you will not yield to it and put yourself in bondage. Everybody's free from captivity as soon as they start changing their mind. You have to change your mind first. You have to get out of your mind. You have the power. So, with that, I'm going to go work on my balance. Work on my balancing acts. I got my plastic put up in my room on my windows and for my child because it's bitter. I mean, it's just bitter, nasty, freezing cold. It's warmer today, actually. The snow is melting, but this is only the beginning. This is very brutal weather for the intro of winter because it never used to be this way. Never was snowing like this on Halloween. So I'm preparing for bitter chill and bitter cold, and it's a good day to, I should go for a walk and get out of the house a little bit, but I don't know that I'm going to do that. So it's very important that if you've ever survived the opposite end of the spectrum, that you can now be the light in the dark places and not be so ascended that we think we're better than anyone else, especially that we don't have to mingle with people like that anymore. No, they're the people who need it the most. The hardest ones to love. That's a Papa Roach song called Carry Me. The hardest ones to love are the ones that need it the most, like my little child in there sleeping after finding out that treatment is being mandated. A harsh reality that you gotta face those demons and you gotta deal with it. So when they're ordering it, then there's no choice left in the matter. It's all in God's hands. And so I'm singing hallelujah that my child is going to have to go get the dual diagnosis treatment that is needed. I had to step up and I don't want to say betray my child, but I had to speak to the probation officer and be real because the kid will lie to get out of not going. But you can't deny it when your face is completely shattered from the drugs, the usage, the meth, the heroin, picking at your face, scabs everywhere. You can't deny that when the probation officer comes up. So that's undeniable. And I just have to, when I had to do whatever it takes to save my kiddo, that's it. I have to be real. So I love everybody. I thank everybody for healing with us. I send everybody abundant, vibrant healing, love, and light, and that everyone can release everything that no longer serves their highest good. Let it go and be the change you want to see for all humanity. Going out and paying it forward to those less fortunate than us is the greatest gift of service that we could ever do. So I've been forgetting to honor White Friday, and we're going to have a white out on Friday that nobody's going to go out shopping. Nobody's going to feed the system. We're all going to be at home with our families where we belong. The day after Thanksgiving, a day to be grateful, and then everybody goes out greedy. Isn't that crazy that it falls that way? A day to be grateful for everything that we have, and then people go spend money that they don't have for things that they don't need to impress people who don't even notice that we exist. And it's all fake. Until we make peace with who we are, we will never be content with what we have, and we will keep buying and buying and buying and buying, because shopping's an addiction as well. I love you all so much. Have a beautiful day.